to my channel, or welcome to my channel. My name is Joanna. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you clicked on this video, you're definitely interested in living in LA and what you can get. So a little backstory: I've lived in LA for about 2 years, almost 2 years at this point. Dang, it might be close to a year and a half. Maybe I should just say a year and a half, because I feel like 2 years is like, have you? But I really think I have. We're in 2020. Yeah, because I moved here in June of 2019 and we're past June of 2020. So, duh, yeah. So I've been here for a year and a half. I'm gonna go ahead and just give you guys everything that I feel like you want to know, but it's kind of hard to find the information. So one was in the valley, so it was farther out from the city, and this one is actually located in the city. Both are in Los Angeles County, just so you guys are aware. I did move to Los Angeles County and have always lived in Los Angeles County, but there are a lot of big differences between living in the valley and living now, which is in the Adams area, near between Adams and Mid-City. So if you like this video, please like, subscribe, let me know any other thoughts, any other things you want to see, any info. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have about moving to LA in the comments. You know, let me know. I'm definitely here to help. The apartment I currently live in, again, is in the Adams Mid-City area. It is $22.95 a month, and it is a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. So my first apartment was $18.50 a month, and it was actually 2 beds and 2 baths, and it was in Van Nuys. So there's a bit of a pretty big price jump there. I lost a bathroom, a lot of different things. So just so you guys are aware, there's a couple different things that aren't common in Los Angeles, like getting a refrigerator, having laundry. These are common things, of course, for more expensive apartments, but if you're on a budget, again, I moved here, you know, on a budget. I wanted to keep my costs. I still am on a budget. This will be super helpful. My current apartment is 2 beds, 1 bath. It does include in-house laundry, so I do have a washer and dryer in the apartment, which you guys saw in the tour portion that I put prior to this, as well as it did come with a refrigerator, which is awesome. So I got a refrigerator this time. My first apartment, we didn't get a refrigerator. I had to rent it. I rented it for about $30 a month, and then they had to pick it up and drop it off to me. That was super simple, but again, I paid monthly for the refrigerator, as well as I did not have laundry in-house. We did have laundry in our building. One thing I didn't like about it was it took quarters, so it required getting quarters, which I didn't love, and it wasn't 24 hours, so I really could not use it very often when I was working. So I would end up getting a lot of laundry, or having to have a lot of laundry, and I found myself going to the laundromat. There was a laundromat down the road from me. It was open a lot later than my laundry, and the washers and dryers were bigger. You can hear that plane? I live pretty close to LAX, so the second thing, we don't have parking here. So, okay, hold on. Okay, I'm lying. I'm technically lying. So when I toured the apartment, they told me the apartment came with parking. I actually, and this is my bad. So you know when you gotta take them L's on yourself, I'm gonna take this L on myself. I toured the apartment. I didn't ask them where the parking was. They just told me there was parking, and I assumed it was pretty accessible. It's not. To give you guys a good idea, no one uses the parking because it's that inaccessible. We live in a small building now. It's about 8 units, and nobody parks in the back. No one. Like, we all just choose to park on the street because the parking is so inaccessible. There's like a city gate on the alley, and then there's a gate on our parking, and our parking gate and our city gate both use keys, and they're not automatic. So it's like, no. My valley apartment actually had a parking garage underneath the building. I got a clicker. Boom, perfect. I have my assigned parking spot, clickered into it, clickered out of it. Never had any issues with my car, nothing like that. Now in this new apartment, I still haven't had any issues with my car, so that's, thank goodness, like no one's broken in, nothing like that. But I do have to park on the street occasionally when I am out late. I come home, there's no parking near me. Like, occasionally it can be a half a mile to a mile walk to my building from where I had to park. So that's kind of the crappy part about that. And hold on, sis, because I know you're probably thinking, you just say you have parking, why didn't you park half a mile away? You're right, but I'm not gonna lie, I'd rather get the exercise of walking to my car than having to drive in the alley, because also the alley is an alley, and I feel like there's broken glass back there. There was like there's like wood back there. It's just not an accessible alley. Like no one wants to drive on that. So another thing about this apartment, there are no amenities. So we don't have a pool, we don't have a gym, none of that. My first apartment in the valley did have a pool, didn't have a gym, but it did have a pool, so that was really great. That one was a bit more family friendly as well, so there were a lot of kids, which was awesome because I do have a son, so they would all play together in the complex. Of course, like, you know, you feel safe because they're in this gated complex. They would go to the pool on the weekends when it was open, things like that. We don't really have those luxuries here, or not, we don't have those luxuries here. So that's another downfall. Like, we live in LA and there's no pool. That honestly sucks a lot, if I'm keeping it real. Like, it's hot, and in the summertime you want to use the pool. Like, it's not hot now, it's October, but when it was hot, it's like, dang, it would have been nice to just be able to go to the pool. Okay, so another big difference between my valley apartment and my current apartment is going to be this dog like incessantly barks. Okay, so another big difference between my valley apartment and my current apartment is going to be my valley apartment had central air and heat, and this apartment does not. So when my first apartment, I was able to have central cooling, which was amazing, and central heat, because again, I didn't really need it, but you know, sometimes it does get cold, and if you have it, like, you're gonna use it. In this apartment, we don't have any heat. We do have air conditioning. We have units in the walls in both bedrooms and in the living room, so we do have some sort of cooling. Keep an eye out for that, because when I was touring apartments, a lot of apartments didn't offer, like, not a lot, but there were a couple apartments that didn't offer either. Like, you would have had to buy your wall unit, which then you have to put it in your window, and that's pretty frustrating. Like, these are built into the wall, not in the window, so I think that's really great because I don't have to worry about like the window being opened or some weird stuff with my windows. Like, they're built into the actual wall, so that's awesome. But again, keep that in mind when you're searching for apartments, and make sure you're looking for all these small details. So another thing, we don't have a peephole. I had a peephole in my last apartment. I don't have a peephole in this one. So you know, unless you're expecting someone, which again, I don't have guests, but like, you just never know when people are knocking on your door, especially like when they're going around with like the census stuff and just stuff like that. Like, it can be, you know, unnerving or frightening, especially when I was here alone, to answer the door not knowing who's there. So keep that in mind. Again, we don't have a peephole here, we don't have central air, and we don't have any heat. But any other heat, like, we'd either have to buy like a space heater or double up them socks and blankets, which is fine with me because I'd rather be cold than hot anyway. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is storage. There is almost no storage in this apartment. None, girl, nothing. We literally have the closets in the bedrooms, and that's it. Even like the kitchen cabinets, my kitchen is not spacious. My kitchen is small, there's not a lot of storage space in there, and that kind of sucks. So it's like, I have a lot of larger appliances. Like, I have a juicer, and we've got an air fryer that I can't keep on the counters, and it takes up a lot of space in my cabinets, and I don't actually have a lot of cabinet space. So that definitely is a downfall. And then with storage, so we had a lot of stuff. Like, if you're a natural girl like me, like, I've got my hair steamer, I've got my face steamer, like my Christmas tree. Like, we have a ton of things that ended up actually going in the side of my son's closet, because he doesn't have a lot of stuff. You know, he has a dresser, so he uses his dresser in his closet, so I just use half his closet for storage. And I actually use under his bed for storage because there's no underneath to my bed. You can actually see it back there. You can't put underneath my bed, so I use the bottom of his bed for some storage as well, because we just don't have any storage in this apartment. Versus in my last apartment, a ton of storage, like literally a ton. Kitchen storage was still pretty low. Like, honestly, like, the kitchen was still pretty small, but like, I had a bunch of different cabinets throughout the house for different types of things, and the closets were both walk-ins. So I had a walk-in closet for him and a walk-in closet in my room, and it was just bomb. So there was a ton of storage there. Again, still a small kitchen, but everything else had a lot of storage, which was really great. And then the kitchen cabinets are actually super high up, and that's pretty inconveniencing if I'm being totally honest, especially like even like trying to let my 9-year-old be independent, like there are certain things that he can't really reach without like climbing onto the counters and things like that, which isn't the biggest deal, but it's just kind of one of those things to think about, like especially if you're shorter, because there are certain things that I have to climb up to like fully use the storage. I have to like climb up onto my countertops to access the things I put up like super high, and that's annoying. Like if I'm being honest, like I don't love having to do that. So I'll give you guys a quick summation of why we moved down from the valley to here. And to keep a long story short, that's literally not even that long. I wanted to be closer to my job, and I was commuting, and it was a long commute. It was taking me like an hour in the mornings and at night to get to work. Like it was the worst commute. And then you're like commuting through the mountains. Like my ankles would hurt from like stopping and going on my pedals. Like I would be rushing trying to pick my son up from school. So when I was apartment hunting, I was looking for something that was close to my job. Keeping a long story short again, then we got COVID, and now I actually permanently work from home. So it's kind of one of those things, like being honest, like if I had gotten the memo that I would permanently work from home prior to moving, I probably would have looked for something still kind of in the valley, in the vicinity that I'm in. I can do pros and cons on like the city if you guys are more interested, or you can just ask me below. I'll definitely let you know. But personally, I just really enjoy the valley. Not only were the was it a little bit better apartment wise, but it's just that I enjoy being out there a little bit more, like for stores and things like that. Aesthetically, this apartment is a lot prettier than my apartment in the valley, but I do think that that's something that could have been solved with just moving to a new apartment. When I moved to my first apartment, I hadn't seen it. We signed the lease before we even got to California. I had only seen pictures, and pictures make everything look cute, girl. TBH, like it wasn't bad, but it wasn't bad for a first apartment. It was cool, it was great, but I wanted to upgrade because I didn't love it. I didn't love a lot of things about it, and this aesthetically was an upgrade for me. Like it's just a lot, it is a lot prettier. But again, I still think I could have found something like this in the city and probably would have been looking, or in the valley, excuse me, and probably would have been looking in the valley if I knew that I wouldn't be going back to work, because I honestly live about 12 minutes from my job now. Woohoo! Like I live about 12 minutes away, and if I didn't work from home, I'd have the shortest commute. It would be great. But girl, sis isn't going back to work. Sis is actually staying home. So it doesn't actually matter that I live so close anymore. So, and I do think I would have maybe regretted not living in the city or living closer to the city if I didn't give it a go. And the area is not bad. So I don't live in like a, you know, a bad area. I don't live downtown. Like the area is definitely cool. Like the area itself is cool. So the apartments size-wise are pretty similar. I will say my valley apartment was just a little bit bigger, but that's also probably due to, again, we had 2 relatively big bathrooms, and then 2 like big walk-in closets. We also had a patio at that apartment. We don't have a patio here. You know, so the square footage was pretty, the valley apartment was bigger. It had central air. This one does not. To rent our refrigerator, we also didn't have in-house laundry here. We got a nice, really nice refrigerator. It's actually brand new, as well as we've got washer and dryer in-house, which I love because, side note, tidbit, I have really sensitive skin. That was kind of the one thing that was kind of, I'm gonna say icky. I don't want to say icky, but I'm gonna have to say icky. It was kind of one of those things that was a little icky for me about having to do laundry in a community area. The washer and dryer, I would pull it open and there would be like someone else's soap in there. Those really fragrant things mess with my skin, and so I didn't love doing my laundry in a community setting because I want to make sure that what I'm using, like it's you know, it's good for my skin and it's not gonna give me rashes all over, because it's not cute when you got eczema all over your body. Like no one likes that. So keep that in mind. Last pro and con, this apartment, a lot more light. My first apartment in Van Nuys, that was really one of the main reasons why I wanted to leave as well. It didn't have any light. It didn't have any light. It was so dark in there. It was so dark all the time. Like because we were on the first floor, and then the building was kind of like we were facing inward, so our patio and our the big windows we had were facing inside the building. So you know, it kind of had like a breezeway, but the breezeway didn't get a lot of sun, so there was really never any light. This apartment, as you can see right now, I'm filming in natural light. I do have my light bulbs on, but I'm also sitting like right by my bedroom windows, and these aren't even like big windows, like they're kind of thinner. And you can see them a little bit in the mirror here, but it also helps that they gave us these mirrored closet doors, because these help bounce and reflect the light off, which is amazing. So I'm definitely a person who likes the sun in, unless I'm sleeping. Like, I want to be in some sunlight. It helps with my mood. It just helps me feel good. So that's something that I would keep in mind and think about as well when you're moving anywhere. Just think about the lighting, think about things like that, think about it when you're touring the apartment. Getting the apartment itself wasn't challenging. Most, if not all, apartments require you to make either 2.5 or 3 times the rent. I believe for both of mine it was 2.5 times the rent. They do run credit checks, so keep that in mind. The deposit minimum is usually 1 month's rent. That's what it was for both of these apartments. For me, the minimum was 1 month's rent for the deposit, and then again they kind of go based off your credit from there. You don't want to have been evicted or have any delinquencies on your record of not paying your rent or things like that. So with both, it was an online portal that I followed. Again, I didn't get to tour my first apartment. I hadn't been out here to look. I just literally found an apartment, saw if I could apply online, and applied. But again, getting the apartments, I don't think they were super difficult. I feel like the truth is that people want to rent, especially in bigger cities like this. They know that people are coming and need roommates, or you're coming for an acting job. So they definitely know that. And there's a lot of sites you can use to like find roommates or find you know, hostels. I feel like I can't think of a different word for hostels, but like places that like rent like rooms out, or like maybe, you know, anything like that. So there's a ton of different living options. Even like with working at my jobs, like I've seen a lot of people have different living options, and you can definitely find one. So again, you don't have to have your own 200. You don't have to have your own apartment. You don't have to worry about doing things like that. You can look on roommate sites. You can join Facebook groups. I found both of my apartments on Zillow. I love Zillow. I think it's super, super great. It's super helpful. It gives you a lot of pictures, things like that. I was kind of nervous to apply at like some big communities, because I didn't want to waste a lot of money doing a lot of applications. I didn't know if I'd be denied. I didn't know what they'd be looking for. So I stick to Zillow when I'm not looking for something that's like a big apartment complex. Rent.com is great, but it's more so bigger apartment complexes and not really small privately owned types of buildings, which are what both of mine have been. My last one was a lot bigger. It definitely wasn't super small. It was just owned by a smaller company. But this one is really small. Like, this is only 8 units. So I think that's it. I'm gonna check my notes. Let me check my notes, y'all. Okay, awesome. I think that that's it. I tried not to ramble too much, but if you have any other questions, let me know. Again, I love to give you guys any info on moving or apartments or anything like that. If you have any further questions, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know how you felt about it. Again, this was not a furnished apartment tour. Sis isn't furnished. She's just living. I think that at the end of this lease, we're not staying in this apartment, so I don't really feel the need to like furnish it that much. Like, I do little things, but then I'm kind of like, do I really want to like go all out? Like, do I really want to give it that much more? Because I don't know the vibes of my next place, so I don't know if I'm gonna want all the same things, and then I don't want to just keep buying a bunch of crap to move. So it's not furnished. It's not, you know, like, I'm not gonna like link any of my things down below, because I really don't feel like y'all need or want any of the furniture that's in my house. I just kind of wanted to give you guys a cool overview what to expect when moving to LA if you're not looking to spend $3,000+ on an apartment. Again, even my apartment is a bit more expensive because it's a 2-bedroom. If you're looking for a 1-bedroom, you can save even more money. So definitely keep those things in mind. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope it wasn't too like wordsy and mouthy, and like I didn't say too much. Just let me know if there's anything you'd like to see, and thank you so much for watching. I'm so thirsty. Whatever. Fancy meeting you here.